What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer. As we all slog our way through 2022, one potential beacon of hope for those of us manic enough to still play Overwatch is the 2022 Archives event. Regarded by many as being the best Overwatch event of the year, Archives 2022 is sure to bring us a host of awesome new skins and some endlessly replayable PvE fun. Right? Well, today I'm going to discuss everything we know so far regarding this year's Archives event, such as its start date, which heroes could be getting new skins, and even how it might be connected to the Overwatch 2 beta. 2022 may so far have been an underwhelming year for us Overwatch fans, but things just might start to get interesting again in the weeks and months ahead. Now, before I dive into details for Archives 2022, I first want to mention that given the current state of Blizzard and Overwatch, there are more uncertainties than usual when it comes to this upcoming Archives event. We could see it play out similarly to how the event went in years past, or, like we saw with the recent Lunar New Year event, things could end up being very different. And especially considering all the rumors about Overwatch 2 and the fact that this year's Overwatch League will be played on some sort of early version of the sequel, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Blizzard tweak the way they handle Archives this year. Therefore, in this video today, I'm going to cover two different major scenarios for how Archives 2022 could end up playing out this year. One being the scenario in which the event plays out similarly to how we've seen it handled in years past, and the other being me speculating about what may happen if Blizzard opts to treat things differently this time around. So first off, let's take a look at the normal event scenario. As always, let's start with the start date. Even during normal years, the Archives event dates are unfortunately some of the hardest to pin down, given that the event isn't based on any sort of real-world event or holiday. However, we can still at the very least make a good estimate of when it'll be starting by analyzing the dates it ran in years past. Looking at past Archives events, we can see that almost every year it started in early to mid-April, with the one notable exception being the single time in 2020 when it started almost an entire month earlier than that. However, the reason we saw the event have such drastically different dates in 2020 was because of the release of Echo, and how she was officially revealed and added to the Overwatch PTR during that year's Archives event before going live shortly after the event ended. So, unless we see another big content reveal of this sort happen again this year, which is a possibility, and I'll be discussing that much more later in this video, then we'll likely see the 2022 Archives event once again start in early to mid-April. Looking at the calendar, these 2 weeks here are the most likely window of time that the event could start, and given that Overwatch events always start on either a Tuesday or Thursday, April 5th, 7th, 12th, and 14th are the 4 dates which I think are worth looking at. If I had to hazard a guess at a single date in particular for this year's event to start, I'd say April 12th, just because it best lines up with the average start date of past Archives events, but honestly, I think it could easily end up being any one of these 4. Additionally, based on past trends for Overwatch events, we can expect to see teasers for Archives 2022 begin a few days before it starts, with Blizzard showing off a handful of the new legendary skins we'll be getting with the event. But now that I've covered the anticipated start date, next up, let's take a look at which heroes might be getting new skins during Archives 2022. When it comes to figuring out which Overwatch heroes are going to get new skins for this year's event, we gotta take a look at the hero skins chart. This chart is blah blah blah, highly detailed information tracking past events and skins, yada yada yada. Look, if you really want to know the nitty gritty of how it tracks things, just read the explanation here, but at this point I'm gonna assume most of you have already heard me explain it in past event videos, so it probably isn't worth your time for me to explain it all verbally yet again. Anyways, getting on to which heroes are most in need of a new skin based on the chart's data, we have Ana, followed by Mick Cassidy, followed by Roadhog, Winston, and Reaper. Now, yes, I realize that Reaper just got a skin with his Hero Challenge event, but those aren't part of the chart's calculations. And besides, the chart might not even actually be applicable here and now, because over the course of last year, we actually saw Blizzard deviate away from who was most in need of a skin at the time of the event, and focus more on which heroes specifically didn't already have a skin skin for said event. Now, admittedly, this year's Lunar New Year event deviated away from that in its own way, but let's hope and pretend that that event was a mere fluke, which we won't see happening again. Instead, let's consider who might get a skin not just based on the statistics of this chart, but rather based on which heroes so far don't have a skin from past Archives events. Looking at which heroes don't have an Archives legendary skin already, we get Diva, Reinhardt, Sigma, Wrecking Ball, Echo, Symmetra, Brigitte, and Zenyatta. And if we reduce it down to the heroes who have neither a legendary nor epic skin from past events, we get Diva, Sigma, Echo, and Brig. So if Blizzard aims to flesh out the heroes on the roster who don't yet have any Archive skins, these four are extremely likely to get something new. Moving on to a better visual, these are the heroes I think are most likely to be getting new skins with this year's event. Keep in mind, there's no guarantee that all or any of these heroes will get something new in the upcoming event, but they're the most likely given that they don't yet have skins for this particular event. Beyond just who is likely to get skins though, based on past events, which aren't Year of the Tiger, we can expect a total of about 5 new legendary skins with the upcoming event, along with 3 new epic skins, which can be unlocked by playing 27 games during each of the 3 weeks, with wins counting as 2 games being played. Aside from skins though, we can also expect a total of 3 new emotes and or highlight intros, a new spray and player icon for each of the new skins, as well as an assortment of new hero voice lines and other sprays relating to the event. Moving on from cosmetics though, the other thing we have to look forward to with Overwatch's 2022 Archives event is the PvE game modes. While there almost certainly won't be a new PvE mission for us to play this year, Uprising, Retribution, and Storm Rising are all certain to return along with their corresponding challenge variants. So at the very least, we'll have these to play while we wait for the eventual release of Overwatch 2's PvE. And speaking of Overwatch 2, that wraps up everything of note when it comes to the normal event scenario for Archives 2022. If Blizzard decides to treat this event similarly to how they've handled events in the past, then everything I just covered is likely more or less what we can expect for Archives again this year. But what if things don't go down like how they have before? What if this year, like what we already saw with the 2022 Lunar New Year event, things end up going very differently? Well, for starters, let's consider the worst case scenario, which would basically be us getting yet another Year of the Tiger style event. I'm talking 2 new legendary skins, 3 new epic skins that are part of the weekly challenge system, a handful of other cosmetics as we typically see, and that's literally it. No new game modes, no other exciting announcements or developments or content additions, nothing of that sort whatsoever, just another lackluster event with barely any content added. That would be the absolute worst case scenario for things to end up playing out this year, but hopefully we aren't going to end up seeing that be the case. Hopefully, even if we do get only 2 new legendary skins and barely any other content, there will be something else to keep us occupied during the time of Archives. And perhaps the most likely thing we have to expect in this regard is an Overwatch 2 beta. Now, at the time of me making this video, there haven't been any official announcements regarding when or even if we're going to be seeing an Overwatch 2 beta in the near future. So for all I know, by the time you're watching this video, something official has been announced, in which case this whole section of the video is going to sound pretty silly, but based on what we know right now, I'd say that the 2022 Archives event could be an opportune time for Blizzard to finally roll out an early playable version of Overwatch 2. We already know that the Overwatch League is going to be playing on what is effectively an Overwatch 2 beta in early May, and so if the Archives event is going to be taking place just a month earlier than that, I could pretty realistically see us as the general player base, or at least maybe a select number of us if it's a closed beta, get a chance to play it as well. This might even end up working out pretty well if it does end up being a massively watered down event like Year of the Tiger, in that if there's only 2 legendary skins to unlock and not much else to do in the event, then most people probably aren't going to really want to spend that much time playing the old Overwatch regardless. So why not use the Archives event as a sort of publicity boost for the Overwatch 2 beta. If you have the beta and the Archives event running simultaneously, players are going to be forced to split their time between the two of them, which typically isn't something that Blizzard would want people to have to do during an event. But again, if there's not much to do during this year's Archives event, it could work out as being a good time to have the beta. And I mean, it's not like there isn't a historical precedent of Blizzard using events like this to tease and build hype for upcoming content, since, as I mentioned earlier in this video, that's exactly what they did with the Archives event in 2020, building up to the release of Echo, in addition to other major content reveals, such as with comic releases, or even the Kanezaka Deathmatch map. So at the very least, it does seem like a good opportunity for Blizzard to pull off something like this yet again, specifically when it comes this time to Overwatch 2. Heck, even if it doesn't end up being a publicly accessible beta for Overwatch 2, they could instead just use this event to make more announcement and reveals for the sequel. Anything from further Overwatch 2 designs to the reworks of old heroes, to maybe even the reveal of new maps and heroes. There's quite a bit of stuff that Blizzard could potentially end up showing off. And I mean, once again, focusing on the Overwatch League this coming May, if it does turn out that there will be new heroes playable in that version of the Overwatch League, then Blizzard is pretty much going to have them officially announced or teased or something preemptively, so that we don't just tune into the Overwatch League and see some random pro player suddenly using Mauga. Honestly, just given how suspenseful everything is surrounding Overwatch and Overwatch 2 at this point, with us knowing something has to happen by early May for the Overwatch League, but us not knowing what exactly to expect or when exactly it'll happen, the fact that Archives is such an odd event to begin with, on top of the fact that it just so happens to nicely fit right in this time window, makes me think that Blizzard more than likely is going to end up doing something interesting with it this year. Hopefully it doesn't just turn out to be another year of the Tiger event. I really hope we end up getting a bunch of new exciting skins with this event like we have in years past, especially since Archive skins tend to be some of the best skins in the game if you ask me. I would love it if we got a bunch of cool new cosmetics. But with everything else going on right now and all the excitement and hype for what may or may not end up happening in the weeks and months ahead, we're certainly in a time period that's worth keeping a close eye on. So as we continue through 2022, I'll definitely be keeping you all up to date with any further news and announcements relating to new content, so be sure to stay tuned. Anyways, that does it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments down below. Do you think Blizzard is going to dramatically change how they handle Archives this year, or do you think it's going to go as we've typically seen it go in the past? Either way, I'd love to hear from you, and be sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, hit up that bell icon, and come join my Discord server to hang out and never miss any of my future Overwatch content. Special thanks to my YouTube channel members who help make these videos possible, and if you'd like to join them to earn some cool rewards, then just hit that join button down below. Otherwise, this is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.